Hello, and welcome to Tinker Sailor Solder Fry here on the beautiful and mighty Loading Ready Live Video Entertainment Network. I am your host, Ian, and joining me today is Cameron.
Hello.
And we're going to be doing things, creative things, making things. It's a let's try program, not so much a let's
Succeed?
Yeah, it's not a how-to, it's not instructional, but boy, maybe we will learn something along the way.
Yeah, less of a how-to and more of a why did.
Ooh, philosophical. So yeah, Cam's been working on Silver Tower miniatures for
For
quite,
like 4 years.
yeah, basically. And you've been making some very good progress.
That's a lot.
There's 5 characters there who basically look colored.
Yeah, I guess I'm on the last one.
Oh wow, because yeah, you've got that the griffin there, and then
Yeah, the barbarian.
yeah, big thick bladey boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's Warhammer, so everyone's a very thick boy. Right?
And
Like, the dwarf is just like, not only thick, but round. He's a very sturdy lad.
big round boy. And today my project will be continuing on with a leather bag that I've been constructing from scratch, which is to say from leather that's been pre-dyed and pre-tanned, not something I'm willing to try actually.
Yeah, tanning leather seems like it can just go wrong.
There's a lot of chemicals involved that I'm not willing to put in this, leave unattended in this office, because I understand it's a timely procedure too.
All that urine, probably.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of that. So, I've done something today that I haven't done before and have been trying not to do on the show, which is do some work off screen. And the only reason for that was because I wanted to be able to get some work done today. Yeah, what needs to happen so far on the bag? We've cut the leather out. We've stitched the front together with thread, as you do. And did I miss a
stitch?
I can't believe I did, or it just got very deep. Either way, we can go over it again, but that's the beauty of the saddle stitch, is that even if you miss one side, it's still structural. Anyway, the point is, what I've done that I haven't done before is I went ahead and glued the pieces together in preparation to punch the holes for the stitching through. And then, what we're going to do is actually get to work riveting some hardware into this thing.
Ooh, so this is going to be like a Indiana Jones gas mask bag.
Is effectively, yeah, except the size and shape, specifically of a SodaStream bottle and a sandwich, because this is my take lunch to work bag.
Right,
when I don't want to take the big bag.
Right. So yeah, more of a what were they called? Were they actually just bread bags?
Essentially.
Yeah, I want to say that was a specific kind of bag.
Yeah, I think what I've managed to do is kind of settle on a map bag.
Okay.
In size, at least. Anyway, the inspiration, for those of you who are still wondering, is off of this, which is a saddleback leather briefcase model, I believe, in medium, it's a very good bag. It is strong and well put together, and it is too big for what it needs to do day to day. So I thought, why not take some inspiration from the design and then make it myself. So today, yeah, we'll be installing some hardware, which means riveting, punching through some stitching holes, which we'll do first because we want to get those matching up, and then installing some hardware. And we'll get to that in just a second. So we'll start. Ooh, I've forgotten one of the pieces of equipment I need. There is a wooden plank in the back. Would you mind grabbing it for me? Yes, just back there. Thank you. Let's get out our tools. Adam Zero, to make a leather bag from scratch, you must first invent the cow. That's actually something that came up recently on Twitter. We had, not Twitter, I'm sorry, Mastodon. I had a someone ask me if I'd be interested in doing a Linux build from scratch, and I had to ask them, of course, what exactly do you mean?
What qualifies as scratch?
Yeah, when you reference Carl Sagan as much as we do, you have to ask that question. Specifically, how much of the universe am I going to be inventing today?
You have to write your own kernel, but you have to write it so that it's Linux.
In order to invent Linux, you must first become Linus Torvalds.
Then talk about how it's not new.
No, it's in fact been around for a number of years, Cam. All right. That's not all of my tools, is it?
RM wildcard.
I do enjoy a good wildcard search. Yeah, I found that I was actually having to search for files just yesterday. And we of course, are a half... our servers run on Linux, but our desktop machines run on Windows. So I ended up having to use the search for files by using the Linux file command, which was much faster and much more comprehensive. I know what it's doing when I issue a command that way. Whereas if I just start typing in the Windows search box, I have no idea what it's doing.
It's trying to be helpful.
It sure is trying.
God, I was able to do so many powerful and useful things with VI, Vim. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I've only ever seen it in text. But it always felt good.
So you were a Vim user.
Yeah, instead of Emacs, I guess. Running that up the flagpole as some kind of declaration of allegiance.
Some people really have a
strong opinions.
Oh, yeah. All right. Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say we're going to punch first.
I was just saying that the ability to highlight blocks of text in Vim, instead of just like treating it as one long line, but actually being able to like highlight
with a rectangular
shape.
Oh, that's very
Oh my god. The power. Power overwhelming.
And of course, Vim has multiple cursor support too, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. That was my first real eye-opener to text editors. So you just select everything and change it as you go along? Or iterate? Okay. So the glue that we've used is not that sticky, but that's okay because we're going to be doing some pulling apart in order to get the buckles in where we need them. So throw it down there. For me, I just use Nano mainly in the terminal when I am in a command line situation. And when I'm not in command line situation, then I prefer to use, then I'm using Visual Studio Code. All right, which side should I be punching from? Because I know this is going to be, from the last time, that these lines that I've etched in, unfortunately, before I needed to, don't always match up when you actually end up when you match the edges together. So I think I want the seams that are going to be visible to go down that channel. So I think what I'm going to do, because this back of the bag is probably going to be against me most of the time, I'll punch from the outside edges. Which means coming from this edge. All right, let's get these punches out and get started. I wonder if I need to, if I'll ever need to sharpen these, or if it's possible to even sharpen them.
I was going to ask, how does one sharpen a punch? I imagine it must be done.
One would have to assume. I'm actually to make a quick change to my setup here so that I don't bump your table.
Ah, or I could just take my elbows off the table
Oh, this is why I
and
brought
stop
along.
shaming my grandmother.
This is why I brought along a secondary table. Slide this in. Haha. Welcome to the bang zone. Mallet for life. Hopefully that'll be less angering sound-wise.
Well, it's not that sound that made me angry.
Gotta get out my
Never say those words to me again.
welcome to... oh, yes, those... yeah. I'll be sure to just let you in silently. Just remember your passwords.
I'm gonna need headphones and my iPod.
All right. Let's get this in here, line up to...
Also, safe words.
Oh, no, the you need
Passwords?
Oh, yes, the outer password and the inner password.
Be sure that your safe word contains at least one majuscule character, special character, and is at least 16 characters in length.
Oof. That's so interesting facts about Microsoft today. They're now a $1 trillion company, which is amazing. We've got, what's his name? Nadella, the CEO, being hailed as someone said, I've never, an industry journalist, I've never seen a tech company fall so far and come back so amazingly within such a short period of time. And my first thought on that,
What about Apple?
yeah, do you does nobody remember Apple in the 90s?
Yeah, like round about what, 92, 93?
Yeah, they
They
were
were like not in good shape.
yeah, they were close to the end. And
I didn't actually even know that Microsoft was that close to the end.
they weren't, they just didn't, they were doing badly, but they kind of swapped their priorities rather than making Windows the end-all and be-all of everything. Nadella kind of realized, hey, we're actually a really shallow horizontal company and not a vertical company with Windows in the center. And it's been working out really well for them.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I love me some Excel.
Well, now that it's a service, it's making lots of money for them.
Dang it.
Where was I going with that?
We go places with our anecdotes.
Thought I had a point there, but I guess I was wrong.
The bomber years were not good. Turns out the bomber maximum doesn't exist.
This mallet is actually apparently supposed to be for making ice with. My brother wanted a Lewis bag, and they were much cheaper to buy here in Canada than they were in Japan. And it turned out that it was just as inexpensive to buy a kit with a mallet and a bag as it was to buy just the bag by itself. But I've always wanted a wooden mallet. Should give it some oil, though.
I really need to figure out what the barbarian smells like, because I've already established that the dwarf smells like beef jerky. So the barbarian needs to smell like, I don't know. Like, look at this dude. He's hyper, like, masculine, right? What does Conan smell like?
Like, is it a mix of musk, stale ale, and I want to say expensive patchouli?
I don't know. This guy strikes me as straight edge for some reason.
I'm just thinking about what sort of fragrances would be available in this sort of a society.
I don't know. Maybe he's just cosplaying. Maybe this guy is actually a tech bro. Like, yeah, check out my gains. I've been using this new app to help me track what I eat. increase my performance by at least 7%.
Somebody posted the concept of of magic users being essentially the computer scientists of whatever universe they're in.
Oh?
And running a D&D campaign as if you were a software developer as a wizard, and just not trusting any
any magic
spells.
Yeah.
It's like, I have no idea how I put this spell together, but it does work. So just be careful when you're disapparating.
Yeah.
Me, I generally take a carriage, much safer.
Yeah, I don't teleport myself. God. Also, abjurationists, don't even bother. Their security protocols don't work at all. Oh yeah, I do abjurations for the king. It leaks like a sieve in there. I can't get him to remember his password.
That was it. Thank you. Microsoft announcing recently that they are removing, or they're not suggesting that people change their password on a regular basis anymore.
Oh.
They're instead suggesting that you just, have a good password to begin with, rather than a password followed by the number of months that you've been employed.
Right. I mean, yeah, like encouraging people to reset their passwords must work for about 5% of people and then just drive IT nuts while everyone is like, I forgot what month this is.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it, is people pick a password that fits the requirements and that can be reused.
Yep.
Or people end up writing it down, which is, not what you want to encourage. There we go. That bangs through quite nicely.
Hey.
It's like a dream.
What's the Deaf Heaven meme?
Deaf Heaven.
There was it's an American shoegaze metal band.
Oh yes, shoegaze.
But they had a meme based on one of their lyrics, which is, they tried to write lyrics. They're very sincere, which is disappointing. I'm not going anywhere with this, just so you know.
That's all right.
Just so I don't set up any expectations, unlike most of my anecdotes, which are rollicking. I scintillate, in fact.
Okay, just about getting to the end of the first edge here. You know what? I might actually adjust one of these lights, just so you guys can get a better view of what's going on behind me here.
If there's a pin you want me to turn on, I will turn it on for you.
This is actually exactly where it needs to be. It was not pointing anywhere before, and now it's right in my workspace. Oops, there's my mic.
Somewhere Ben's eye just twitched. Comes in tomorrow and he's like, who touched my pin?
The top of your head is very bright.
Ooh, that's probably because I'm right in it now. Let's get an overhead shot of that bag area here. Okay, so you can see that. Good. So we're getting close to the edge, which means we'll need to reduce the number of holes we're punching at once.
And I'm about to break.
There we go. I don't like banging the edge of the bag while I'm doing this too. But okay, yeah. And if you can see the back here, you've got, I'm not sure if we've got a, there we go. So yeah, the line is not followed by the holes, as you can see, all the way across. But that was to be expected. So let's continue on with, I think, the 4-punch. That should be good. Line up the last hole and send it through. Ooh, that's right into the wood. Don't want to do that because that'll dull the punches extensively. All right, I think I'm going to stick to the 2 now while I get around this curve so that I can keep things nice and in line. There we go. Set and punch. Set and punch. Planeswalker Go-Go, Ian and his leather working, otherwise known as how I got back into sewing. Okay, just about to the curve. And yeah, keeping it flat is a real, oh my lord.
You can just imagine the illustrator being like, you hired me because I can paint dinosaurs.
Now you've made me do this.
You've made me draw a human. This is not my forte.
Well, fine. If you want mammals, you'll get mammals. So in general, I'm a big fan of the clapping ass cheeks meme. But I've been trying to remove more ableist words from my vocabulary, and so I don't like. I've been trying to remove the dummy thick portion, and just again, there's something about the mouthfeel of dummy thick that makes it work.
Yeah.
You know, an uneducated thick makes a lot less sense. Okay, we're just about around the horn. I'd say this would be riveting entertainment, but that is quite literally coming later. Okay, and across the line. Now the bottom edge. I will admit, this has been, the glue on this one has been holding a lot better than the last one did. There we go. You just really got to push down on it.
Is the glue mainly there to hold it together until you can get the stitches in?
That's what I'm using it for. I mean, it could be used for both, but for some additional support. But really, the majority of the support is coming from that stitching. Ooh, Corvus, that's some good punnage. Loading ready run. I think you're thinking of Hydro Thick from Schick. Ooh, we're about to get up to the most dangerous part of the stitch job. The triple thick portion.
Okay.
Three layers of leather. I have no question that my punches will be able to handle it, but it still feels good to sink through that much leather at once. done. Excellent. Y'all are having some good fun with the thickness in the chat there.
Fun with the thickness. Get you fun with the thickness.
Get up, come on, have fun with the thickness. It sounds like a promotion for Chuck E. Cheese for their brand new triple thick pan pizza.
I'm surprised that nobody who sells milkshakes has appropriated thick.
The double C thick? Yeah. Yeah. Even at least in their social media, you'd think by this point. Come on out. Okay, we're getting close to that other edge now. Let's switch over once again to the smaller tines.
I wonder if there's some kind of like pact among the millennials working corporate social media accounts that some things are not to be touched. We're just not going to take certain things from people.
The thick belongs to the public.
Yeah. After the on fleek wars.
When it was decided that only Duncan may be on fleek. Duncan runs on fleek.
We haven't yet figured out how to sell this thing that people like.
I mean, I'm glad that we only have so far the one example of a brand appropriating depression. Thanks, Sunny D. I mean, if it had to be someone, I guess Sunny D makes sense.
Petroleum-based orange drink.
What are you drinking tonight?
Today's beer is from Fuggles and Warlock. Oh no, I'd forgotten the name. Tokudama?
Is it their Persona? Or...
It's part of their limited edition runs of sours that are all
okay.
named after Japanese kanji. Or rather, specifically feature Japanese kanji. This one is their cherry sour, though.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Tokudama, but
I mainly know them for their novelty video game themed beers.
that's the majority of them. Mm-hmm. Because I believe actually even this series of sours, the first one they picked was Kiwami. And I'm damn certain that wasn't an accident.
I don't know what that means.
Kiwami means extreme. It was the marketing, the tagline for Yakuza Kiwami, the remake of the original.
I do like the Avengers viewing order, or the MCU viewing order visual diagrams, where it's like, no, you have to start with Hulk, and then you go to Captain America, the first Avenger, and then like Winter Soldier, and then you have to see Doctor Strange because it actually fits in. And then you can see Captain Marvel. Then you want to go see, then you have to play Persona, and then and one of them just had all the Yakuza games threaded in along with it.
Someone linked me to one that included a bunch of Gundam series.
Oh, okay.
And I gave them a legitimate answer on that. It's like, okay, well, if you remove about 6 of these, you can actually remove the ones that take place in a non-existent universe.
Oh, okay.
And then you want to shuffle things around so that they're a bit more chronological or broadcast order, depending on your preference.
When do you watch Turn A Gundam?
Yes. Oh, right at the end, if you want to go chronological.
And if they start producing Gundam series faster than you can watch them, you never watch Turn A Gundam.
Oh, wait, second from last. I'm sorry. Reconquista and G happened.
Oh.
4 years ago today, I think, actually.
What was the weird-ass Gundam where it was like the competition between all the countries and there were country-themed Gundams?
That was actually the first alternate universe Gundam series. And
That was G Gundam? Yeah, because I recently saw, I think it was on Austin Walker's Twitter feed, there was some discourse around G Gundam where he's like, you know, sometimes you get 8th Mobile Suit Team and sometimes you get G Gundam. And somebody was like, if I ever hear you disparage G Gundam again.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful and great thing. It's just different, extremely different from every other Gundam. Chorus, yes, you are correct. That is the beer that is being consumed tonight. Good catch. How's it looking there?
You tell me.
That's
Oh.
good. That's good flesh wash. But yeah, the question is, what color are all those feathery bits going to be?
He's smirking. They have facial expressions. Also, yeah, is Universal Century basically like the Ultimates version of Gundam? Where they've just been like, okay, we realize there's like 400 of these and there's no clear place for people to start, and even if there is, it's a daunting thing to take on, so watch this.
No, that's in fact the exact opposite.
Oh, really?
What's gone on is they've realized, since G Gundam, they started pumping out a bunch of alternate universe series that, you don't need to know anything going into them.
Okay.
And turns out that those weren't very popular with the fans. And then about 5 years back, I think it was, they brought out the Gundam The Origin series.
Right.
Which was a retelling of the events that happened before the first series.
And all the fans were like, that's Char.
Yeah. Actually, that's exactly how it starts.
Okay.
And they realized, oh, wow, we have a large fan base who is willing to give us a lot of money. Let's go cater to them for a while.
Oh, okay.
And so they're now putting Bandai's putting a bunch of money into putting new stories together in the Universal Century.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, rather than rebooting things, they've just decided to keep the same ongoing continuity forever.
Okay.
Yeah. That said, it's not like there's a dearth of mech shows to watch out there if you don't feel like getting caught up on a bunch of continuity.
Kuru has a question.
Kuru has a question. Okay, I potentially, interesting question, have a... If you had to recommend one series or movie or series of movies to one person who's never seen a mech anime and give them all the necessary context to watch Evangelion, which one would you recommend? Boy, that's an interesting question overall. And up until the end of it, I had what I'd consider to be a good answer, but
because Evangelion starts off like the very first episode of Evangelion is basically the very first episode of Gundam 79. Right?
Essentially, in a lot of ways.
Right, like the kid arrives at his father's workplace.
Yeah.
Right, and has to pilot the thinger.
With no training and but that's where the
similarities end.
Well, that's where the Eva being a commentary on mech anime sort of begins.
Yes.
Whereas instead of the kid being gung-ho about getting into a Gundam and also being a prodigy, he doesn't want to do it and also really sucks at it.
And honestly, Gundam has done a lot of its own commentary on mecha anime too.
Yeah, I mean, Tomino is very very open about that, about the fact that kids should be watching this, not adults. You all suck, my fans. Now watch my new show. Oh, you know what? I'm going to stick with my initial thought on that. I'm going to say that Giant Robo is the one that's worth looking at.
Okay.
Because it's not a series that is a deconstruction. of robot anime. It's more of a, hey, what if we had a chance to do one perfect thing
Okay.
and throw as much money and talent at it as we could.
Giant Robo is the one that's very kind of like 1920s styled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And at the time, one of the most expensive OVAs ever produced. But just a beautiful, fun series, and you've got all the tropes of young prodigy boy controlling giant robot, because that's a trope, and it does it really well. Z Alpha, Ian, was that you all suck my fans, or you all suck my fans, or you all suck my fans? It's Tomino, so it could go either way depending on what day he's having. He's a great director and a little bit of a lech.
Ugh.
Well, they always trot him out with the pretty girls for the press conferences, and everyone seems very happy to be there. It's strange. All right. If I stop yapping and continue plunking, we can get done this sooner. Oh, that's unfortunate.
What happened?
I dragged the tines across the leather a bit.
Oh.
I mean, this kind of leather, I'll give it some oil and really rub it out, and it'll be fine. It's really similar to my shoes, which are in a terrible state right now. But
Leather wears, it acquires scuffs. Say it's character.
exactly, and I generally do.
That's how I was able to afford my saddleback briefcase. It has character. I.e. bubbling on one surface where it wasn't glued properly.
Ah,
But it did mean it was $300 off.
wow, that's a significant discount. I remember trying to find my saddleback on their discount portion as well.
Yeah.
But
I got lucky.
they don't often come up. I got lucky as well, thankfully, by finding a university student who was selling theirs off, completely unused at a steep discount. But they're out there. There's actually a Facebook group dedicated specifically to secondhand sales of specifically saddleback leather products.
Similar to flu Vogs.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, there's huge groups of people who trade old Vogs.
Wow. Because they stay together quite well.
I need to get these ones resold. But
I'm on the 4th sole and heel for mine.
actually, I think these need to be cared for a bit better. But these are like, God, 8, 9 years old?
Yeah, they last. And I know that's something we go on a lot about on this program, but yeah, I do like things that last.
Once you can afford to start buying like things that last, it winds up saving you a lot of money, but I acknowledge it's a huge upfront investment.
It is. It's also addictive. All right, I think.
Well, I mean, yeah, once you can say things like, right, I've got that boots problem solved.
Yeah. Like I think I was saying it just the other, actually maybe it was the last program we were on, that I'm always now looking for the last thing that I'll have to buy of every category that I can. Like I was thinking about my old car that way. Not that it was particularly good, but just that it was something that I don't want to have to buy another car. And this one feels like it's good enough to take me through to the end. And so, yeah, that's the way I feel about the saddlebag leather bag. And this will, hopefully, I'll never need to buy another smaller bag. I don't know that I'll be able to do that with these Vogs, though.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, even well cared for, I don't think they're a lifelong shoe. Shoes are worn a bit harder than everything else.
They take a bit of abuse.
But you know, if you can not have to worry about it for even a few years, that's nice.
All right, I think I have. It's not even a think. I have successfully perforated this bag. So that's one thing done there.
I once perforated my bag.
Oof.
Well, I say I.
So let's talk about hardware. Hardware on leather bags or for leather working can get expensive because it's a individual craft. It can be a hobby, and therefore people will try to take your money. So rather than going to Tandy or where have you and paying full retail price for their hardware, I just went to Valley Village and grabbed a couple belts that had the pieces of hardware that I liked. These are going to make fantastic rings for clipping on, and I got them specifically because they're seamless.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
It just occurred to me I didn't want seams because I didn't want them to pull apart, due to weight, because I'm always overloading my bags. And then I realized just now that this bag is incapable of getting heavy enough that it would pull apart rings.
Yeah, I would hope so. You'd have to fill it with uranium or something.
Yeah, so unless I'm carrying around 3 or 4 thermos-sized billets of tungsten, which would be nice, these will suffice. And this just, I like the brass, and I thought that the round would make for a nice front buckle. And yeah, they came out to be a lot less than they would be from a Tandy or whatnot. So let's free our hardware using the power of knives. I do have a knife for that, right? Somewhere around. Aha, there we are. Knives everywhere, but not a drop to drink.
Those are both lies.
I'll just use this little X-Acto. See if I can cut threads like a seam ripper. And there we go. If anyone is actually wondering about what I'm planning to do for a strap, I'm actually just going to use the strap from the saddlebag bag because I think it will match quite nicely.
Yeah, it's the same kind of tone of espresso-colored leather.
Yeah, and it, to be honest, it's got good connectors on it. All right, so that's one done. And this one, we can do a similar thing and just slice the threads holding it together. And there we are. Let's remove that tag as well. Okay, now comes the fun part, design. put away these clamps, though, before they completely take over our workspace.
Clean as you go.
It's a lot easier that way. Okay, first thing we're going to need to do is find a way of attaching these D-rings to the side. And to do that, I'm going to have a look at the bag here. So, Saddleback has chosen to attach theirs using, good God, a rivet up here to hold just the whole piece together and hold the D-ring in place, and then a rivet down here to punch through the side of the bag. And I think if I recall, what we were going to do was actually just do a double or triple riveted design on the side of the bag here, just into the side of the leather. I think that'll be enough to hold it on, because we don't have this center seam to work with like they did. So let's think about that. So we're going to need to get it through thusly, something like that. And then rivet through 3 pieces. That's going to be interesting. Actually, can I just use this piece? I think I can just use this piece and have enough to do at least one. Why not? Let's use what we got. Still contemplating.
Yeah, trying
Color?
to think about color and how I want the color to go. Because if you look at the extant miniatures, you can tell that there's a loose color scheme shared amongst them. Where we have, like, I don't know if we can get them on camera or not, but there is a color scheme here.
It's almost like a film grading, even, in terms of the color.
So, you know, there's a lot of black, a lot of red, a lot of light blue, and then a little bit of bone. So where does this guy fit in, who is largely meat?
Protagonist, antagonist.
Yeah.
Like, how does he fit into this?
Oh, he's one of the hero characters.
He is.
Yeah.
My initial thought, to be honest, was to suggest some sort of a macaw-based theme.
Macaw?
Yeah, a red, black, and maybe a bit of blue or green highlights.
Okay.
But I was looking specifically at his boots at the time that looked kind of feathery.
Oh, yeah. I guess they're supposed to be furs,
Yeah,
right?
but I think an orange fur wouldn't be amiss there, or red, much like the whatever the big shieldy boy there has got going on his helmet.
Like, I was thinking of doing the furs in kind of like grayish or black, kind of like seal fur. Because, like, you know, I don't know what they have in the Chaos Wastes for furs, but then maybe the sword blade could look like it's made out of obsidian or something. I don't know if that works.
I do like some black swords.
If you make it black, then you should try to add more color to the hilt.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, yeah, I got the sword. I contracted for it for an artisan in Japan who made it out of traditional tamahagane.
Oh, the
It's
stuff
folded a million times.
the stuff they used to make axes. Thank you, Corvus, for posting that as well. So attaching these with a shield and tab. You know, that's probably not a bad idea. And then stitch them in. Let's consider that. I'm going to keep using the tags that I've created here, though.
How good am I at painting crystal shine effects? I've never tried. I mean, I suppose I could paint the sword blade up to be like a glowing blue.
Ooh, that would be nice.
It's magic. You know, that's not a bad idea, actually. Maybe we can work with that. Sorry, I need to get my, like, 40-ish-year-old man standing around while his friend works on something, holding a beer kind of voice. Hey, you know, I'm just trying to tell the John story here, Bob, and,
You know, that's some good work you got going on there. It's maybe a little bit maybe more to give it some clear coat on top of that when you're done with it.
yeah.
Really
yeah,
buff it
yeah,
up
yeah.
there, make it shine. It's always important to do a clear coat. Refreshing. Okay.
How is that, by the way?
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to try if you'd like. It's cherryish.
I would love to
Yeah,
take just like a sip.
Please do. I'm currently unill, so.
You're currently unwell?
Unill,
Unill, okay.
which is to say, well-ish.
Smooth.
How did I know that was?
Because we both read Tintin.
Yeah. Oh, I had to have pointed out to me the other day that the characters in Old School Musical that we're playing on Rhythm Cafe are essentially caricatures of Tintin and Obelix.
Oh, really?
And as soon as that was pointed out to me, a bunch of stuff just clicked into place about why the game is the way it is.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, it's European. That explains some things. It's a very good game, though. All right, I'm just going to freehand some stuff.
Yeah, let's go give him a glowing blue sword, shall we? That'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Something we haven't done around here that often.
See, the problem with this is that I'm not good at cutting curves. So I'm going to use the D-ring as a template. To just give it something that looks okay. That's not bad, I'd have to say. Wrong examples. Do not rivet or buckle tabs on the outside of the case. Okay, so the tab. The tab is only for riveting the rivet in place to itself, and then you stitch the rest of it. Is what I'm gathering here. Which means we can definitely pull back on how thick that is once it gets past there. So I want to say about here is where I want to begin my cut. I'm going to make a score there to mark it. A score here to mark it. Okay. And then I'm going to call it about there. And here. Just little scores. And then we can even it out with a nice straight edge. Yeah, stitching is more flexible and therefore stronger in this context. It can't pull through the leather, which is important. This is exciting because this is something something I've never done before. I have done leather stitching, I have done leather cutting, but I've never done design work like this. And so this is very much outside my comfort zone, and therefore interesting. All right, I'm just looking around right now to see if there's anything I can use as a circular template. Because again, as I said, I'm bad at drawing circles.
Shot glass.
Shot glass is going to be a bit too wide in the radius.
Matt, could I ask you for a favor, please? In my briefcase in the friend zone is a pencil case with a compass in it. Could you bring me the pencil case from the front pocket of my briefcase, please? I have a compass for you, Ian.
Thank you. Okay. I was just about to wonder if that was for me or not.
Just thought I'd mention it in the middle of the thing for no reason.
Yeah, I have a compass. Please bring me my compass so that I can show Ian my compass.
The importance of bringing your own compass, Ian. Can't draw proper force diagrams without a compass.
Okay, so you want to use the, they're saying you want to use a wider D. Well, I can use these tabs for something else then.
If your force diagram is drawn, uses circles that were not drawn with a compass, then they are not really circles, and therefore your force diagram is wrong and is worth 0.
Ah! Thank you. It's going to be very useful. Okay, I'm just now...
Tatum once came into one of our labs to call out one of the students for tracing a circle with a toonie.
I mean, that's something I was about to do. Okay, so yeah, you can actually put the tab through the leather.
God, I love that cranky old man.
D through leather. Okay, so we want to put the rivet through all leathers for extra strength purposes. Cool. That's the way to do it. Okay. Oh, and shields can be cut to any size. I mean, this is probably going to be, these will probably be fine then. Yeah, I'm gonna, you know what? This is a let's try. This is my first design. Let's see if we can make this into something that I like. Okay. That's the opposite direction. Ah, there we go. That's... It's been a long time, I'm going to admit, since I've used a compass. Like, how do I do the thing that I want to do? This is a nice compass, too. All right, well, if we're going to do it this way, let's at least match up our patterns so they are the same.
Whenever I tell stories about Dr. Tatum, people are always like, man, I would have hated a prof like that. But you know what? There's extreme value in instructors who don't let you get away with sloppy bullshit.
Yeah?
Who call you out for being like mega slops at a stage when you can recover from it, where it hasn't become habit yet.
Well, that's what I was about to mention, is that it's about forming good habits early. Mm-hmm. Because if you form the good habits early enough, they're much easier to form.
Yeah.
All right, let's slice off this end piece and then see about copying over the curve. thumb out of the way. There we go. That's not exactly clean, but we can clean that up with the magic of sandpaper. And by sandpaper, I mean a convenient-esque emery board. Ooh, this one's still fresh. Use a little X-Acto to open that up. Use a little X-Acto to pry it open. All right. Yeah, I have not had time to go through reading all of the documentation on leatherworking that Corvus was so kind to point me towards. But that said, I also like finding out how to do things on my own, and also doing things wrong excites me sometimes.
I really enjoy being able to make mistakes.
Yeah.
We don't really get very many opportunities to make mistakes without dire consequences in our lives. Hobbyists do. Because, you know, when something kind of like inherently doesn't really matter, i.e. with hobbies, then it's very liberating to be able to just be kind of a fuck up. Nothing's at stake.
Yeah,
Except I'm on the internet, so, you know,
Yes.
inevitably any mistake will be...
overanalyzed, and
An explanation will be demanded.
then eventually we'll have to make some sort of a apology, which is a non-apology.
I'm sorry if you became offended by my miniature. Wow, the painting a sword this color is not something I've done since 2nd edition Warhammer 40k.
Ooh,
Like the ultramarine blue power sword.
it was a thing. All right, and then let's give that a bit of a sand to make it nice and evenly curved. There we go. That's two relatively nice looking tabs. Let's now get those circles drawn in.
Hope I didn't just, like, shame you into using a compass.
No, not at all. In fact,
But I realized I had a tool that might be helpful, and I should have asked before.
rather happy, because it means that I don't have to necessarily make do with just what I've got on hand,
Okay.
which is often the case on this program. All right, now, there we go. That's how we want to do it. Okay, that'll produce a nice curve. This will also produce a similarly nice curve. All right, now we just need to cut along those lines.
Cam, you have a fancy compass.
I should probably mark the other one.
You have a fancy compass.
It's what the university bookstore sold. But thank you. I bought it myself.
It doesn't look like a cut rate math kit.
Yeah, it didn't come from a Superstore back to school lineup. Because
It served me well.
all right.
I was always very happy that I was one of the few students who was allowed to submit hand-drawn diagrams in my lab reports instead of being asked to use ChemDraw.
Ooh,
Like, unless you're Cameron, you don't get to submit hand-drawn diagrams. And I'm like, yes.
wow.
We're like, wait, why does he get to do it? Well, look at his. Oh,
Oh
they're
yeah,
very
no,
nice.
well, that tracks.
Good habits. Thank you, Dr. Tatum.
Just so I know, what was Dr. Tatum's first name?
I keep wanting to say Dredrick.
Because otherwise I'm going to imagine it's Channing, and that's going to
Yeah.
be really weird.
I don't remember. I've shamed myself.
But it is not Channing.
No, it is not
Okay,
Channing.
good.
He's an old British astronomer. I hope he's still around. I imagine he's retired by now. Either that or he's just invincible. Still getting like one grad student every decade whose main job is breaking up the same suit he wears every day with a ball-peen hammer. Yeah, that sounds right. Is he still teaching? Or is he an emeritus now?
Retired.
Oh,
But alive.
He's emeritus.
okay. He was a fellow of the Royal Astronomical Society.
Really?
Yeah. Although I imagine if you're an astronomer, you get there eventually.
Yeah. Some interesting things going on in the field of astronomy right now.
Still active.
Good.
I mean, they just fired up the gravity wave detectors again,
Cool.
and have been detecting. I think they said they detected 2 potential black hole unions, and the union of a neutron star with a supernova. Or no,
Rad.
sorry, not with a supernova, with a black hole.
I was going to say, is that a black hole sun?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how many astronomers we have in chat as regular members of our community. And I know Crusher is around and GCU. But I don't know if we have anyone else.
I know I have one of my coworkers. He is an amateur, well, not an amateur astronomer, because they do work for the observatory.
Oh, okay.
I think in a volunteer capacity, though. By day, they're a policy analyst for Elections BC, but
Cool.
it's nice to at least geek out with him about low light cameras. Maybe one day I'll build a Peltier cooler for a CCD
Neat.
just for low light imaging. All right, well, they're not exactly shields, but I think they're, tab-wise, these are pretty good. I'm going to see how it goes. Question for us, what are your, and I'm assuming our, thoughts on the M87 black hole photo?
It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
I have no time in my life for people who don't look at that and go, holy shit.
That's rad. Yeah, I think the word neat is also applicable there as well.
One of the things where you look at and go, this is a hell of a thing that protons have learned how to do. Be people who do things like this. Good job, protons and assorted other bits of matter in being humans. Can't wait to see what you do given another few billion years.
We did it. Nope, that phone number doesn't exist.
Have you two been getting the Cantonese Revenue Canada scam?
Oh no, I haven't got that one yet.
There's one that's targeting recent arrivals to Canada,
Oh, that's...
claiming to be from Revenue Canada.
That's not right.
Nope.
Okay, I'm just marking a line now in my tabs to make sure that they are both the same. They're both going to be the same size when they get done. Because I'm going to need to punch holes in these too, now that I know kind of what I'm doing. Kind of. That seems good. Let's just draw a line right across. Boom. Okay, next up, I think we're going to punch a hole in these guys. And that's done using, funnily enough, a punch. And I have a selection of punches here. These are mallet-based hollow punches. I also brought with me, as I'm sure we'll make use of this hand punch. But for these, because I want them to be the same size and I want the holes to line up properly, I think what I'm going to do is just punch right through both pieces at the same time, rather than try and measure out where the hole is supposed to be on both parts of it. And I'm also going to find out how big of a hole I need to do, because I've brought a number of rivet options, some that we're definitely not going to use and some that we are. We're probably going to use these brass rivets here. Oh, this is a good point, actually. If we need to get through 3 layers of leather, these might not be thick enough. But let's have a look. Good. I can tell that these are my rivets because of the way the bag's opened.
Oh, do you have a diagnostic way of opening bags?
For things like this, I like to just cut a small slit up the side. Just so that...
It's reusable?
Yeah, well, not necessarily reusable, but at least if you roll it over like this, they're not all going to just immediately fall out. Okay, these rivets are going to get through 2 pieces of leather. So that means, I guess, I don't know if I want to do the through tab on the bag. Because there's no way in hell this rivet is getting through 3 layers. Or maybe I'm wrong. Well, I mean, there's one way to find out, isn't there? You know what? There is one way to find out, and that's to test it.
Are these self-peening rivets?
Yes.
I don't even know what that means. I think I saw it in a War Machine book.
All right, let's cut a few strips off of this guy here. Whoop. That strip has done good work. All right, 3 tiny pieces of leather. Let's make a hole in them each, which I believe we use this red one. Seems to be the right diameter. Yep, that's about right. Ooh, that's a rough punch. And then you just give it a tap, and a hole occurs. That might even be a bit too thick. I'm going to go one size down, if there is a one size down. There's not, that's the smallest one. Okay. Well, that's probably fine. Let's punch the rest of these through. That's 2, and that's 3 pieces. spawn of Haster, no, I don't believe that. I can only speak directly for myself, but I don't think anyone here has built their own guitar amp.
No.
In fact,
Though I understand it's like a hobbyist thing, right?
but it's definitely a thing that can be done. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to get out my anvil. There we are. If you want a nice flat surface. There we go. Just gotta position it right. And then let's get out one of said rivet caps. And then unfortunately you do need to have a rivet setter if you want to set rivets. This big boy is for the copper rivets, which we will not be using today because I don't think that they will look quite as clean, but this looks like this is going to work for us just fine. Set the round thing on top, give it a good tap, and wouldn't you know it, these
That looks pro.
yeah, and these rivets are exactly the size necessary for 3 sets of leather, it looks like. I don't feel like that got a good enough clunk, though. There we go. That's a tight fit. And still looks pro. It's got a bit of stress to it, but it's definitely in there really good and tight now. That's not coming about easy. Yep, but it is bending on the backside, which is to be expected. Okay, great. I'm very happy to see that. Which means that we can punch out our tabs on the sides at least. So let's do that, shall we? Line that up there. And then hit the center for maximum structural integrity. And run it through. That got all the way into the wood. Ooh, maybe a bit far. Oh well. That's one tab. And center punch. Here we go. And it amazes me every time how little force is actually needed to get through leather, usually when you've got a cutting edge. Like, it doesn't rip very easily, it doesn't... it does tear, but not easily, but the minute you apply any sort of good force and a good cutting edge, it just like butter through the leather. It's lovely. Alrighty, so now we need to think about stitching these guys on. And I think, in thinking about this, I think what we want to do... Oh, hold on. If I do... No, don't want to do the... Well, if I do the tab through, then I only need to stitch a few places. The stitching might be easier. but it will... This is a tough one. So if rivet through, stitch that way, then everything's outside. But if I tab in, then rivet through, Chat, where do we want to go here? Do we want... How clean do we want the outside to be? So I feel like the tab through method could really make for a nice clean look. Otherwise, you get everything outside, which might end up looking a little bit bulky. I think... I mean, either way, I'm going to be putting holes in this. Let's... Actually, you know what? Let's take ourselves a short break. I'll make some decisions over the break. And then when we get back, let's make mistakes that we can't recover from.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Don't go away. There'll be more Tinker Tailor Solder Fry after this. Welcome back to Tinker Tailor Solder Fry here on Loading Ready Run Video Entertainment Network. This is a Let's Try program, and today I'm trying to create a leather bag from scratch, and Cameron is trying and succeeding.
Am I?
I'd say, well, I mean, you're trying to paint, what is this, Barbarian?
A Dark Oath
A
champion.
Dark Oath champion. And, I mean, you're doing pretty well.
Thank you.
The color is staying within the non-existent lines.
I suppose so. It needs to be read at like 3 feet, right? Tabletop distance.
I mean, these are on camera figures, so I'd assume we'd have a close-up on them, probably whatever we're going to use them for.
Probably.
Silver towering. However, one actively verbs a silver tower. We were just talking over the break about someone mentioned that they'd like to see Beej and I do some car stuff. And we were talking about, you know, we could do that, but A, we need to find a location where we could do it. And we need a project to work on a car with.
Yeah, because my car is more of an appliance now. Like, it's a 2013 VW Jetta. There's big plastic covers over the engine. I'm not that interested in changing stuff out in it myself. I'd rather just let the dealership do it at this point until my warranty runs out.
And thinking about what I could do with my Mini, I was thinking, well, we could convert it to a coilover system for the suspension as opposed to the rubber cones. But really, all that does is just remove the rubber cones that give you a good ride, but are expendable, with some springs about that big, which ruin your ride. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe if we can find a way to get it into a shop where we could film, we could replace the cones at least. Or maybe I could get in there and actually bolt in the shifting lever that I've got that's currently just friction fit. Because the bolts that are supposed to be self-tapping didn't. Instead of self-tapping, they just pushed against the metal and pushed themselves out of the aluminum housing.
Of course. I mean, tautologically, it'll always be the last pot of paint that you check.
Oh, no.
But also, sometimes it's also the last one that you could have checked.
It is liquid enough, though, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good. Right. Oh, yes. So during the break, I had come up with my decision with regard to tabs. And my thought is that I am not going to do the tabs going through into the bag because I have not created them in such a way that they can do that. The little small bit goes too far down, so I'd have to trim it up there, and that would just be... I'd be losing too much structural integrity. I think what I'm going to end up doing is probably actually sewing it through there and then down around the edges. which means I'm going to be attaching them to the outside as is. So, why don't we get to doing that? Which means starting by deciding where I want this to go. And I think the way to do that is to eyeball the first one.
One does not simply eyeball it. You're firing a weapon of mass destruction when you pull the trigger on the...
Was that the
Mass Effect
Mass
2
Effect-
copy pasta.
Yeah.
I love how that's being delivered outside the mall, basically.
Yeah!
Because like I definitely got the impression that at one point in Mass Effect 2's development, they were going to go to Earth, and you're going to be at like some kind of academy where that speech would have made sense, and then they cut it, and the writer was like, "Hey, this is awesome," and it has to go in the game. And they're like,
everyone
"Oh,
on the floor loves it.
okay, we'll put it somewhere. We'll find somewhere to put it." And they put it on the Citadel for no reason. But it's good.
Yeah. And it will be forever repeated on Desert Bus. Okay, I have found the hole, or the point at which I'm going to make the hole has been marked on this side. And don't have a ruler, so instead we'll just... Do you have a ruler? Thank you. So that is a total of flat 6.5 centimeters from the side, 4.5 centimeters from the top. Great. Flip it over. Let's see, 4.5 centimeters from the top gets me to that point there. 6.5 centimeters from the side gets me there.
Were we talking about Sonic on stream earlier, or have I just ruined both of our lives?
No, I think we were talking about Sonic off stream,
Right.
which is okay.
Yeah.
We can talk about Sonic here if we have things to say about Sonic.
The best description I saw of that trailer was somebody said Dr. Robotnik, like Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik. Looks like some guy who, along with his wife, trolls Tinder looking for a third troubadour to join them for schnapps and shenanigans on the front deck of their steampunk land yacht.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that said, I do also agree with the read that it was really just someone wanted to make a Dr. Robotnik movie,
Oh, yeah.
and nothing else mattered. What I was noting, though, and it led me down a bit of a rabbit hole, was the weird use of Gangster's Paradise in that trailer.
Yeah, that's not one I really saw coming, TBH.
You know, Sonic, the OG.
We
Yeah.
commented on that for Checkpoint as well, because it's like, look, Coolio got mad at Weird Al for ultimately probably helping to propel that song into many white nerds' consciousness,
Yes.
and yet here we are, I don't know, fucking 20 years on, and it's like, yeah, no, go ahead, please use that track in your song about a weird hedgehog.
It led me down a rabbit hole of eventually getting to the Grammy performance of the song, which included the two rap gentlemen, whose names I cannot remember, who actually won it. But then
One of them was probably Dre, and you're forgetting about him.
Oh, I could never forget about Dre. But the point is, the end of the video, they bring out Stevie Wonder singing the chorus. Because
Wow.
it heavily samples his song Pastime Paradise. And then they lead into the final chorus and verse, which aren't on the original, or on the recorded version, I believe, which is just a refrain of No racists in paradise. Yeah.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah, because that's what the song's about. So yeah, you bringing it up that it's being put in the minds of a bunch of white nerds. Like, yeah, I can kind of actually see why he'd be a little bit upset about that.
No, absolutely. That there was definitely this thing of like, you are going to diminish the power of my music by doing this, and yet, that whole kerfuffle was due to rampant miscommunication, and yet, why is it being used in the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer then?
That's the real question, isn't it?
Because I guess everyone was just like, fuck it, I don't care. I can't deal with it anymore.
Ultimately, I guess everybody has to also make money. So, fine, I guess. Or is it actually just in the public domain now?
Oh, wow. No.
No.
I would love that, but no. I think it might have been one of those cases where they're just spitballing what they can do at the trailer meeting, because so often those trailers are just made by people who are unrelated to the movie production whatsoever. But I'm willing to bet that they were just spitballing, hey, like, what if we used Gangster's Paradise? Ha ha, wouldn't that be great?
Well, maybe it fits into the whole 90s thing.
Maybe.
Where, what do you do in the 90s with your children's media property? You have them rap in the middle of it, right? That's what the kids these days like.
Oh yeah, TURTLE power.
My name is Sonic,
God,
and I'm
don't do
here
that.
to say.
Don't. On the half shell, they're the Heroes 4. don't put that in my mind. I don't
They're
know.
the Green Machine.
could
Walk
ask
the
for
town
more?
without being seen.
This is gonna look good.
Maybe it was just a thing of like, hey, Coolio, they want to use your song in a trailer again. Oh, great. Yeah, go right ahead.
What is it for?
Or maybe he's a closet Sega fan.
Maybe?
Maybe. Or maybe he was just like, I don't care anymore. Song's ruined.
Time to get paid. All right. That is a good rivet. Shit!
I'm a genius! Oh no!
So, this looks real good, don't it?
Where's the ring, dude?
Right?
What'd you do that for?
There is never, ever any situation where you want to hear the phrase, "Where's the ring, dude?"
Yeah, that's never a good question, is it? Where's the ring, dude? Oh, Mr. Frodo.
All right, well, let's see if I can, jam a screwdriver in here sidewise and pop this thing off.
Just picturing Corvus, because I've met Corvus, so I'm picturing Corvus with head in hands, shaking it back and forth, like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Everyone's got to do it once.
Ay, ay, ay. Ichiwawa.
Okay, so what you do is get out, or if you can't find any way to bust the rivet, get out your snips, clip the ring, feed it through.
Again, another phrase you don't want to get.
Okay, we're going to have to cut the ring, sir. Just do whatever you got to do, Doc.
Not my ring. Protect my ring.
What I am going to do is I'm going to use these snips to hopefully snip the rivet down the middle. Well, they're hollow, right?
Sorry. Corvus missed it. He was on a call. So I guess he heard his name. He's like, what did Ian do?
Corvus, we managed to rivet the tab on. Just real nice there. Yeah. No D-ring. Okay. Da, 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 da.
On the plus side, Ian, we just got a sachet of a Japanese Gyokuro green tea.
Ooh,
All the way fresh from the UK.
the UK.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's pretty damn good.
they are known for their tea.
It's a very famous house, Fostrom and Mason, who is like a very they're tea purveyors. Probably I'm gonna maybe by royal decree. I have no goddamn clue. But they do a tea box like we've been getting coffee boxes. They do a tea box, and someone signed us up for it.
Okay.
Beautiful. Matt, could I ask you to get me a big chunky flathead screwdriver, please?
Wait, Hoska's right. We bought bolt cutters for the X-Way to Y video.
Those might be just too much. Like, guys, these rivets are just
Very small.
well, yeah, they're
Yeah.
very thin pieces of brass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not solid.
They're sturdy enough for the purposes of a bag, but
Yeah, like that's why I always worry about rivets not providing enough structural integrity for these sorts of jobs, especially these pop top ones. Ooh, yes, those look good. Thank you.
stealthy.
God, that was-
Stealthy.
Thank you, Lady of the Lake.
Held aloft Excalibur.
I didn't vote for you. You don't vote for. It's a party-based system. You don't vote for anyone.
Political legitimacy is based on a mandate from the masses.
Watery tarts hanging out weaponry.
Not from some farcical aquatic
What a
ceremony.
ceremony.
Ah.
Just because some watery tart lobbed a scimitar at you.
Oh, I do love that line. There we go. Popped it off. Let's try that again, shall we?
It's like, Excalibur isn't a scimitar.
Just because if I went around saying that I had supreme executive power, just because some moistened bink had lobbed a scimitar at me, they'd put me away.
Okay.
Okay, that's better. That's better. And let's try this again, though this time with feeling. And by feeling, I just mean right.
It was Fortnum and Mason, not Forstrom and Mason, or whatever
Ah.
the hell I came up with. See, you do the same thing that I do, which is you tap lightly once,
And then just fucking hammer it.
and then you hit it again hard, and then you tap lightly once again. It's always tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. It's never tick tock, tock, tock. Is that?
You know, there's...
That's the same rhythm I have. I don't know why other people do the same thing though.
I don't know either. It's always just been ingrained in me.
Poetic feet.
It was bint, not bink. My apologies to the British.
Got the wrong,
Bink is the video
It's a
codec.
terrible thing to say about a person. I picked the wrong slur, apparently.
Well, I thought we were going to be done, guys, once we got everything riveted on, but then, yeah, it turns out I need to stitch those things too. And I'm okay with that. No, 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 not again.
Shit!
almost got there. We almost got there.
I'm glad nobody told them, but maybe we should start telling them.
All right. Let's knock it down.
Measure once, cut twice.
Sorry, Mr. Rockefeller, we're going to have to unrivet your building. We forgot to put the things behind them.
Fuck do I care? I'm not living there.
Okay, that looks good. Oh, dang, that feels good.
Ooh. Yeah, no, that looks tidy.
That's going to be nice.
Let's zoom in on that. Get a good shot of that. Yeah. Wow, yeah.
That almost looks like a real bag.
Yeah, pro as hell.
It's going to look really nice once we get the stitching down along the edges.
Will you use the same saddle stitch?
Yes.
Okay.
Saddle stitch all the things. So I won't need that for a while. Not until we get the front piece on. Now I understand what Corvus was talking about when they said that I'd want to not finish up the sewing up the bag. Because yeah, getting the holes in here to sew this together is going to be a fun thing. So I'm just going to move that to the side like that so that I can insert it thusly. Okay. So I'm going to try and get at least one stitch in through the top bits so that we can get a few loops through. Loops, brother. Let's tap that through. Did that get all the way? Yes, it did. I'm a genius. Oh no.
What is that from?
Oh, that is from Gundam Reconquista G.
Okay.
One of the characters who is not... It's a great show because I'm never sure who's an antagonist and who's a protagonist.
Okay.
Well, you can tell who the... Everyone's kind of on the same side because Earth is unified,
Okay.
but there's a bit of a military political schism,
Okay.
and also the people in space are not on Earth's side, but they are. Anyway, the point is the character is supposedly a military prodigy. He's the son of the Armenian, not American president.
Right.
And yeah, he thinks that, well, many people over his life have told him that he is a
genius?
a prodigy, a genius, yeah. So it was literally just him saying, "I'm a genius," and literally the next words out of his mouth were, "Oh no!" And
it's a beautiful moment.
Oh, it really encapsulates the internet for me. I mean, it really encapsulates just life for me. Get through all three. Yes, it did.
There's one GIF that I've been trying to find the source of, and I know it's Gundam because it opens with a character, a girl pilot, a woman pilot, who seems to be having some kind of mental break, and then like a beam just shoots through her cockpit.
Oh, yes.
And it looks like it's in South America, I want to say.
Yeah, that would be Gundam Unicorn.
Okay.
Yeah, she's piloting if I recall, she is the daughter of a Zeon pilot.
Okay.
Long past, and she's piloting her father's mobile armor.
You can usually tell what era those things are from. They're generally always from the more recent Gundam shows because back when the original Gundam was airing, they didn't have GIFs.
Jesus.
Thank you, Beach.
Now, okay, you're back on mic, so I'm gonna get you to do this for me. Beach, could you look up when the GIF standard was actually
I'd be happy to.
ratified? Shit, CompuServe created it, so it can't have been the 70s.
Graphics interchange
Formats.
Motherfucking 1987, boys!
Woo! Pew, 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 pew.
It is 32 years old.
Happy birthday, GIF.
The latest release of the GIF standard is 89A, and that was in 1989.
Wow.
So that's 30 years ago. It's GIF's 30th birthday as the most recent format.
Is that like how I'm using Fortran 77?
Oh, yes. Actually, I read a great thing. LLVM
Yes.
has added Fortran to their compiler, much like they added CLang or Clang. They've added Fortran, and they were debating whether they should call it FLang or Flang, which I was like, that'd be so good. But they have decided just to call the set Fortran, which means that now there's another another competing compiler based, I guess, on performance, because I think that's kind of how LLVM's thing is to look solely after performance.
Okay.
I had a Phoenix Down moment there
Oh yeah,
when you said Sealang,
yeah.
as I'd only ever read it as Clang. Which, as a person who loves to make jokes about erotic Transformers fan fiction, is always clang, clang, clang. So I loved it coming up in whenever I was programming. No, you're not having an aphasia. These are words coming out of my mouth.
I wasn't even concerned I was having an aphasia. I was concerned that there were words coming out of your mouth.
Get one, no, maybe two more.
I know I'm not having aphasia.
This is all you're doing, Horner. Oh, these are gonna be lovely. Oops.
And so apparently, it looks like the LLVM F18 project is beating GCC's compiler performance.
Really?
For Fortran.
Okay.
It is not as good as PGI, and I'm going to assume PGI is probably some sort of commercial alternative.
So in erotic Transformers fan fiction, where does Razorbeak get stuck?
God. Now I have to think about it.
Razorbeak was one of the cassettes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the other one? There was like a little dude with the poundy arms.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need to ask about that one because obviously, but
I mean, Ravage is always my
Ravage,
favorite. No, Ravage was the cat. if I
Yeah, the
recall.
little panther.
okay, right. Rumble was the guy with the
Yes.
arms. No, don't go check. What's wrong with you?
So we had seen the chat say they were loving how quiet the stream was, and so then we all decided to get on our mics again.
This is why we can't have nice things.
You're why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Don't go blaming this on them. And that's coming from me.
I probably don't tell you enough how much I appreciate you on this show.
You don't.
Yeah, Ian, go on.
Well, this doesn't seem like a good time to start, to be honest.
Sorry, Matt. I actually didn't have your mic all the way up. I had it partway down.
Oh.
There, now people can hear you.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Ian, go on.
I'm trying to decide if I want to go across on this or if I just want to go from the top down. I think I just want to go from top down in terms of stitching this in. You know what? Let's, we've got time. We've got time to do a little stitching. Well, alternatively, I could just look at what they do on my bag that currently exists. And they do stitch all the way across, it looks like. So, I guess that's what I'm gonna do.
I wouldn't be surprised to learn that saddleback bags are kind of ludicrously over-engineered.
Yeah. I would not disagree with that either. You know what? I think we can probably get away with not stitching all the way across on that. Because the I'm going to put some very heavy tack stitching up at the top, so it won't probably be necessary to go all the way across. And of course, this is this is figuring out how we do it. If it turns out that I did it incorrectly, then we'll find out by bag failure, and I'll know what to do the next time. Did end up knocking some not quite holes into the leather, which is unfortunate. Oh, well.
I imagine once you get through this one, you'll look at it and be like, I can do this one better.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm expecting to happen. Okay, you know what? Actually, I think I can just straight up. Yeah, I can straight up peel this off now that I've got the holes in place. The important thing is that the holes match up on both sides. Okay. Let's make some holes on this side now. This time, learn from your experience and don't go too far.
I mean, I think that worked also without that last clause.
Just
Sometimes
learn
on
from
the show,
experience.
learn from your experience and don't.
Just.
I mean, that's a lesson I could take to heart. Learn from your experience and don't. You're right. Goes back to that.
I liked it. I liked it in a way as kind of, I guess the thought of learn from your both learn from your experience and don't learn from your experience. Which is feels like a koan in a way.
It does, right?
Yeah, it feels like you're saying you should learn from the things that you've done, but also don't forget that just because you've learned from them, that you shouldn't try to operate outside your experience.
Yeah. I forget where I heard it, but somebody was talking about, the truism of never invade Russia, don't start a land war in Asia. Mm-hmm. And their thing was like, yeah, well, it failed twice, but then again, there's also the Golden Horde, for whom it seemed to work pretty well.
Yeah.
Failed twice, notably, in Western eyes.
Yeah, that's really a Eurocentrist.
I did hear a postulation recently that the last 200 years of Western hegemony, essentially, like the ascendance of, Europe and North America and all that kind of being at the forefront of everything that's been going on. It's like, sure, but if we look over the long run of history, it's kind of like China has always been there, and India has always been there. And there's this sense of, you guys, put all this stuff together, great, but keep in mind that at some point, empire is going to fall, and technology's gotten to a point where we're evolving so fast that if your empire falls, you might not be able to catch up technology-wise. And I was like, that's scary as hell. To think that, I grew up in a society that is on that kind of a curve, and it's like, I could live to see that curve start to teeter.
Well, remember also under our Western capitalist system, we're operating under a system where the goal is constant growth. That doesn't work in a closed system.
No.
And yeah, I've never bet against China, is what I'm starting to learn, because they're not looking for constant growth. They're just looking out for themselves. And if that means international cooperation, great. And if it doesn't, then, well, that's what it takes. And that's from the study that I've done on China, that's been the case all the way through history.
Isolationist, unless you get something for
Not
it.
isolationist, just primarily focused, really.
Pragmatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I found out, well, I don't remember when I found out, but I remember learning that the Middle Kingdom meant, from their perspective, that, they're at the center of the world.
Yep.
They're in kind of the middle area, and they're surrounded by morons who don't know what they're doing.
Yep.
That's what that means?
Yeah.
I thought it was just like Middle English, like the Middle Era. For
No.
no.
It means we're in the center of everything, and
Yeah, quite literally, the kanji that you will see to represent China is naka, pronounced in Japanese anyway. I think that's probably an alternate reading in Chinese. But That
It's
kanji
the
means the
rectangle
middle.
It's the rectangle with the slash down the middle.
Yeah, the long slash. It looks like a sign, like holding up a signpost, essentially. And that means the middle. That's why they talk about, like, in Japanese, they'll say "onaka ga tsukimasu" or whatever, like they'll say. But it's like they're talking about their stomach. The thing in the middle of their body is empty.
Okay.
And so when they talk about the middle, so I remember from our Japanese history classes, Vin Sensei would tell us about how the letters from China to Japan and then back from Japan to China, and Japan.
Story.
Oh my God! The Japanese emperor at the time wrote, addressed the letter as "From the emperor of the land of the rising sun to the emperor of the land of the setting sun," which is basically to say that we are coming up and you are going down.
Yep. We're the land of the origin of the sun.
Yeah,
How do you want to deal with that, Middle Kingdom?
yeah.
How did it work out?
Hell,
Remains to be seen.
it sure does. I mean, there's always the option of the Greater East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere.
Yeah. I mean, that might be coming back.
There's that Silk Road.
Belts and Road Initiative.
Yeah, the giant prosperity belt that China wants to build, and there's a reason for people who are like, to be like, oh my God, the way that the world has worked up until now is not going to be the same way the world will work from now on. And it's like, yeah, I mean that's a reason to be concerned about stuff. True. It doesn't mean you should just like stay in bed and stop doing anything.
No, that's in fact the worst option.
Yeah. I think there's room for everyone to grow together, like to grow into better people as opposed to keep growing the economy.
Okay. Time to do some stitching. Aha! I have locked fuck.
What was that, Ian? What did you do?
I have not locked my thread. So in fact, I have cocked up, if anything. Let's take that out. Usually...
Lock your thread?
Sorry?
You did not lock your thread?
Yeah, I thought I was attempting to. So what you do to lock your thread is you just pierce the thread thusly. Well, you thread the needle, then pierce the thread. Come on. It's hard because the needles are blunt. And then run it through like that. And that should get you a little lock there, which is enough to hold the thread in place while the stitching occurs. I hope I've got enough thread. I think I do. 3 times is generally twice is what has been recommended to me as what you need in terms of thread, but I've found that going to 3 is probably a much safer alternative. Okay, get on through. All right, let's begin. So through the top hole, and through the top hole. All right, we've got our first thread there, and how are we going to do this? Through here, let's even that out. Okay.
How's your progress going, Cam?
I don't know. Chat, what do you think?
1 second. 1 second. 5 seconds.
Processing.
I'm not terribly thrilled with the sword. tried to do like a blood thing on it, and I think it looks bad.
Looks fine to me.
It's very primary colored. Mm-hmm. I think there's a direction that could go, but I don't know what it is.
Do you want the blood to be purple instead?
Not really.
Can you remove the paint?
No.
So this is a paint over thing.
Yeah, this would be a paint over thing.
Do you reprime it or do you?
Oh, I could strip it with Windex, basically.
see.
Green stuff. There's organic engine degreaser that works particularly well that you get from Home Depot.
That citrus stuff?
It comes in a purple bottle. I buy one bottle every like 10 years.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I have a citrus degreaser that I've used on things, and it's like barbecues and stuff. It
Yeah,
works pretty
yeah.
good too.
I need to get some of that.
Oh, well.
You can borrow some of mine.
Thank you. Borrow some of your.
Well, you can have
solvent.
some of it, you know.
Thank you.
As long as we're trading solvents, like.
Do you need some ethanol?
Did you say ethanol or methanol?
Ethanol.
I mean, isopropyl alcohol can work, but it's terrible. Yeah, I don't like it.
Maybe just move on to work on something else while you're brainstorming, or
Yeah.
you still have that little doggo.
That's literally what I just grabbed.
Yeah.
All right, I've got 3 loops on the top there. I think that's going to be enough. Again, we'll find out very quickly if it's not, but it looks good. And now we can start the stitching in earnest, which was an underrated movie.
Which one?
Stitching Ernest.
Ernest Goes to Stitches.
Oh, there we go. Ernest in Stitches. Would we get?
Is that a hospital movie or a zombie movie?
Oh wow, it's
Or both?
oh no, it's Ernest gets a job doing stand-up in hospitals.
That sounds about right.
It's like Patch Adams.
Yeah, but with Ernest.
I see. Actually, wait. It probably Ernest was always like a blue collar guy, so he'd be like a janitor, cleaning up.
But he'd be telling jokes as a janitor. Ah, that's it. He's the janitor in the hospital, who's actually funnier than the Patch Adams character.
Oh, interesting.
So it's sort of a comeuppance to the highfalutin smart comedians who are doctors. Us janitors can be just as funny, eh, Vern? Didn't have to go to school or nothing. Also, Ernest was a character created specifically for advertisements.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then he got Ernest Goes to Camp as a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, which they used to play a lot on the Wonderful World of Disney.
For some reason.
I guess they owned it. Was it a Disney movie?
Might have been ABC.
Or like a Buena Vista thing where it was like part of the I don't know. Watching Defunct Land is very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't think it would be, and here I am.
There's a lot of history in the Disney worlds. Oh, I had no idea that Johnny English was also an advertisement character. But that kind of tracks.
Not feeling good about today's progress.
Oh.
Maybe I can just paint over the sword. I think it's mainly the sword that's the problem. The flesh looks fine. I like the war paint across the face.
Can we take another look? Oh yeah, wow.
I think I can just paint over the sword.
Yeah, because it is like a solid block of area, right?
Yeah. All right.
Just with a nice dark color.
I might actually just do my first instinct and use a gloss black and make it look like obsidian.
Obsidian's very good at cutting.
I mean,
Like silver inlay or something.
Not even.
Not just straight gloss black.
Yeah.
Cool.
if you wanted to
I
add
mean, maybe.
some red runes onto it too, that would probably look rad.
I just don't want it to look too busy because that's the current problem.
Yeah.
Tell me more about Deadly Nightshade.
Deadly Nightshade is actually, it's currently in my locker. Someone sent me a pot of Deadly Nightshade, and that might mean something to those of you who were painting Citadel miniatures in the 1990s. Because Deadly Nightshade is a wonderful shade of grayish blue with just a hint of lavender in it. It's a gorgeous color, just gorgeous. And because it was good, Citadel stopped making it because they only bring us pain. I don't know why they discontinued it. It's probably like full of cadmium or something, right? It's got to be one of those colors that's only possible through the use of transition metals.
It was Aslan 121.
It was Aslan 121?
Yes, I was trying to remember the name and I thought it was that. And
Yes, a lovely viewer sent me a pot of it. Possibly the last extant pot of Deadly Nightshade in the universe.
Oh my.
So I'm going to have to decide what miniatures are Deadly Nightshade worthy.
we keep receiving things from people, it feels like, that are like, here's the last version of this that will ever be. Like when we got the pineapple lumps in the mail, it was
Yeah.
like, this is probably by the time it reaches us, this will probably be the last bag in existence.
Oh god. We
What,
just
really?
destroyed it.
Yeah,
The chocolate covered pineapple chunks?
yeah,
Those are gone?
yeah, that's it.
What the fuck, Australia?
That's all that well, New Zealand.
New Zealand?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
A candy company, a larger candy company bought, and I forget who it was probably Cadbury, bought them and was like, great, now we own you, we're shutting you down.
No!
And I think it was in Dunedin. Everybody in Dunedin essentially, if you carry products by that candy company that bought and then shut down the pineapple lump company, you will find your storefront vandalized. and everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like nobody,
Yeah.
people are not like, oh, well, that's terrible, those are being vandalized. They're like, yeah, it stands to reason. Geez, I wish I'd known. I'd have been down there with my own toilet paper and eggs. Apparently that's the thing. People are like, other people across New Zealand have been mad about it, but they've kind of settled down. The people in town where the factory was made, or where the factory was, where they were making these things, have not let this lie.
Huh.
Chat's good at finding things. If anyone runs across a Apple II GS keyboard, let me know. Those are becoming harder and harder to find.
Is that the Apple equivalent of the IBM?
No, it's actually pretty standard. It's a good mechanical keyboard. It's got ALP switches in it, but it's just that I have an Apple II GS, but not the matching keyboard for it. And I'd kind of like to have the full set.
Fair.
I could never understand why the GS looked so cool when the original 2 did not. But that was definitely on purpose.
No, I can tell you exactly why. Frog design came up between the two of them. The original Apple II was, I think, an in-house designed, an in-house designed, what do you want to call it? Case design. And there we are. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, the Apple II was an internal case design, and the Apple II GS was part of the Snow White series of design language that came about during the Macintosh era.
Sector 88 says they might have a 2GS keyboard.
Ooh, get in touch with me then, please.
Probably, through Discord or through your Twitter or...
Yeah, either Twitter or just email me at ihorner@tiltyhouse.com or at tilty.house.
Ian has a Mastodon account, try there. I'm sure he's there all the time and isn't cross-posting from Twitter.
Not at all. That I do have actually. No, I shouldn't mention this on air, but I don't have my notifications for Twitter at replies on, but I do have them on for Mastodon.
Oh, hooray!
Because it's a small community, and I can have meaningful discussions.
So it's a cult then.
Oh yeah, it's 100% a cult.
Fewer replies, though. They're like, pardon me, sir. I noticed at 12:08 on your most recent video, you made a statement that was factually incorrect about Sonic the Hedgehog, and I felt that it was incumbent upon me, as a good gentle sir, to correct you. If you'll reference minute 187 of this YouTube series, you will see that
Go on.
Sonic's penis is in fact purple, not blue, as you said.
That's why we fade it out at that point, usually.
I mean,
That has to do with more with the flow of blood, though.
Yes.
I presume so.
Yeah.
G-forces, maybe.
And the provenance of one's blood. Oh.
Never thought about that.
That's exactly the sort of stuff I need, Sector. Thank you.
I'm so happy I do this for a living.
Oh, this is coming together swimmingly. You know what I'm really looking forward to in this bag? Is when I first get to put some oil on it, or some conditioner.
What do you use?
Right now I'm using an artificial mink paste that I picked up from the...
Yeah, I'm using mink oil as well, or like the mink gel.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah. But I think I'd like to move to a liquid oil for future. Because I find it's because the paste is so viscous, it's difficult to spread.
Oh, I usually just use a toothbrush.
Oh, okay. I
Dip it in and just like raster across the bag, and then.
Okay, I use the pad that it comes with.
Oh, okay.
If you're looking for something that has oil in it that's easy to spread, might I suggest butter?
Thank you, Matt. That's a valuable contribution you've made to this conversation.
It is animal oil. That's.
Maybe margarine if you don't like butter.
Leather care does seem really complicated, though, because I hang out in the boot forum on something, or the boot thread on Something Awful, and everyone has opinions. And for the most part, it's like, get yourself some Lexol leather conditioner, or get yourself some Obenov's oil, but not the LP stuff, because that'll darken your leather if you don't want that to happen. But then there's like another dozen products. People are like, oh, you could get this, and this has been really good, or you can try that. And it's like buying car wax, I find, where it's like, there's always a good type, but you're never sure why.
And how many of the posts in that boot Reddit thing is just please no steppy over and over again?
Oh, they wouldn't stand for that. They'd throw your ass out if you tried that stuff.
Yeah, Something Awful doesn't. Something Awful, for everything else about it,
Yep.
does have a very proactive moderation system.
Yeah. They're good like our mods.
Like, really, if Twitter wants to fix itself, they should buy Something Awful, shut down Something Awful, and put the mods on Twitter. And then institute you need to pay $5 to get back on Twitter if you want to post again.
God, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
You could join for free, like, right away, but then if you F up and the mods catch you, it's like, yeah, you can have your Twitter account back, but you got to pay for it.
Yep.
That just is going closer and closer to, oh no, Twitter's a service now, you have to pay a subscription fee. Like
I have
everything
no
else.
problem with that. I have no problem with, if they need to get their money from somewhere and it's got to be getting people to pay for it, then great.
You know what? I might be willing. I'd be curious to see who stuck around in my timeline, and depending on how many did, it might be worth it.
Like, I would have joined app.net if it was like you get a free account for like X amount of time, and then after a year or something, then you're going to have to pay if you feel like this is a thing you want to be a part of. Like, let me use the social media platform for some time, get used to it, get into the idea of it, and give me enough warning that it's like, remember, at the end of the year, you would need to sign up if you find this has value. If this doesn't have value, then don't sign up, and you won't be able to have conversations or post. You'll be able to look at stuff but not do anything else.
Can we get a shot on this?
Yeah.
I think I did a very nice. I'm really happy with how this has turned out.
Oh yeah, that's handsome looking.
This is now more than just a couple pieces of leather stitched together. This kind of makes it a bag now.
It is artisanal now.
Yeah. Artisanal. Beloved characters. Okay, gotta get this off. I think. Oh, I've definitely got time to do another one of these. Another side. Where'd my... There you are. I'm gonna use a bit more thread though, because I've got a lot to go around, and just having that extra space to maneuver is nice.
What kind of thread are you using?
Just waxed. I think this is nylon.
Okay.
It's it's supposedly sailcloth thread.
Oh, okay.
But I really like the feel of the waxed thread. And it's strong. Yeah, Corvus pointed out just a bit earlier in the chat there that everyone's got their own particular favorite type of oil for leather work. And they were mentioning a couple of my favorites, olive oil, which is my favorite for cooking. And some people apparently swear for it for leather care, but I agree with the point that they made that it does go rancid after a time.
Yeah, I'd be concerned about that.
Rancid or polymerized is the other common problem with a lot of the organic oils.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that, which is why I love mineral oil for so many things. Like I'm very tempted to try just straight mineral oil on some leather that I don't care about to see how it goes, because it does wonders on wood. I'm constantly looking around my house for any sort of raw wood that requires oiling, because it's such a wonderfully... It's partially meditative and partially just nice to see wood wake up when you give it a good oiling.
Really? Ian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing I have said can be interpreted incorrectly.
That's fair.
All right, this is the side that I didn't do as good a job at, if I recall. Yeah, that's not an actual hole. But it's fine. Oh yeah, Spawn of Hester, yes. Polymerization is exactly what you want when
Cast iron?
yeah, when you're dealing with cast iron.
If we could totally get an oven in here, I would love to just have a day where we did nothing but season all of our cast iron. Just 3 hours of the thing on max,
Yep.
and just the problem is that like because the recommendation is to use a self-cleaning cycle to really just like burn that oil, like get all the carbons out. And
Yeah,
everything.
that's how you get it off.
Yeah, but it's like I've been reading about the ways to do it, and what I really would love to do is find a weak acid bath, dip your cast iron in that. Then when you bring it out, oil it immediately, heavily, so it doesn't like rust on you while you're setting up. Then wipe off all of the oil, so there's just a little bit remaining. Then put it immediately into an incredibly hot oven, and like go through that process of 3 or 4 or 6.
That
or
was the
10
mistake
times.
I made the last time I seasoned. I don't think I wiped off enough oil.
Yeah, like you have to. It's like take a paper towel to it and make it feel like it's dry.
Yeah,
because it's not.
You need to actually wipe. If you see oil on it, wipe it off.
I would think like a bath of vinegar would be a week.
No,
acid bath. Right?
we're talking more like the kind of shit that you would have in a chemistry lab. That kind of a weak acid bath, apparently, the kind that almost etches metal. Needs to get everything off of the metal.
There's nothing that says we couldn't do that and then have a tank of oil directly next to it, and dunk from one to the other like some sort of a blacksmith.
I feel like that, like the way you say that does still sound safe to me, like because I'm like, how would anything react, right? If you pulled it out of an acid strong enough to basically eat carbon off of the thing.
Well, if it's you would need a neutralizing bath, because if you take it out of the acid bath and put it in oil, all the acid will fall to the bottom.
Right.
And you'll have a tank of oil with
acid.
a layer of aqueous acid at the bottom.
Right. Oh, you're right. Holy shit.
Right? And then you'll like have to decant off the oil and then just like plunk. Right?
I mean, that assumes we're not just going to seal up the vessel and just put it away.
I'll just bring in a Rubbermaid tub to do this in. Yeah.
That was actually what I had in my head when I was planning this out.
It scares the hell out of me though, working with any acid strong enough to do that in like that kind of a mechanism.
I would be hesitant if it's peeling oil off of a pan just by immersion.
Yeah.
Then like that's probably not something I just want to be dunking a cast iron pan into,
Yeah.
right? Like where you're like glug,
Yeah.
Yeah.
pull out.
I was hoping that there would be something at the university that would be something you could utilize in that way. That either it's electrically active or something where you could actually dip things into it to clean everything off.
I was just about to suggest, how about an electrolysis system
Right.
rather than straight acid.
But at this point, we're no longer doing this in the studio. We're going on location to somewhere where they have a lot of safety.
Well, first off, an oven.
We're going someplace that totally exists that we haven't
Yes.
just made up in our minds.
Right.
Can you make that happen, Cam? No.
No, you can't. I mean, if we were going to do anything involving acids or any of that other kind of stuff, I'd be like, I would like to ask you to be a part of this process in some way, and then we'd have to find a way to make it work. But yeah, see, hands off, absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
Hands off, no
No,
acid.
I'm not dunking a cast iron pan into a vat of acid.
Okay. Second option, Ian, we get sandblasters, and we sandblast our pans until they're clean.
Alex has let me know there is a place in town where you can just get stuff sandblasted.
Nice.
Or bead blasted if you'd prefer.
Well, bead blasting's probably easier if the beads are small enough.
Yeah, that's more if you want just a texture, which you don't if you got cast iron. Oh my gosh, that's what I'd really like to see is just have us grab some cast iron from a thrift shop,
Yeah.
and then sand it so we can get an actual proper flat surface, and then season.
Automotive cutting polish.
Yeah,
We could use that. That would probably help make that a lot nicer. Because we don't want to lap the surface. We don't want it to be like a mirror finish.
Oh, I do.
No, but the polymer has to have something to grab onto, right? Like the oil has to be able to grab onto it. You need it.
Cast iron is porous.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Right.
That's
That's why you heat it, right? Because it expands the crystal lattice.
Right.
And traps the oil.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. I was thinking of it in terms of how they used to lap the surface of heat sinks in the overclocking craze. And then eventually they figured out, wait, we're polishing them to mirror finishes. We shouldn't. We should be polishing them to near mirror finishes, so that the thermal grease that we use has has much more surface area to transmit heat across.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, and also when I say it's porous, like it isn't even the crystal lattice that's expanding; it's the domains,
Just the
the crystalline domains of the iron that'd be expanding, right?
See there, we've already come up with a more workable solution that doesn't involve acid.
There we go. Sometimes you miss the hole.
Also, I have a lot of cast iron at my house.
You know, I think I need to get rid of some of my cast iron. I've got 2 smaller pans that I never use.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think anyone does. Like, one of them's not even big enough for a large egg.
Why do you
Why?
have that?
Is it just kind of like novelty?
Well, it's
Like,
I think I picked.
Also, how large of an egg? Like ostrich or?
Well, no, like a large chicken egg. I don't know how I ended up with those ones.
Because I have a little Le Creuset enameled cast iron pan that I inherited from my grandparents, which is big enough to fry one single egg and not have any room to flip it.
I know mine are vintage of some sort, but
Maybe they're for
melting
frying quail
butter
eggs.
or
Oh yeah,
that could be it, yeah.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. You melt some butter and a little garlic in that thing, and you could probably take it straight to the table on a trivet and use it for dumping or like onto pierogies and shit, or maybe like dipping stuff in.
Dip.
Yeah.
That could be good.
I mean, could it also function as bakeware?
Probably. Well, I mean, yes. Functionally, yes. But again, probably too small for anything significant.
I am considering, though, buying or replacing my current nonstick pan because the coating's coming off.
Oh yeah, that's
Because
something.
they are handy to have.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got a nice set of non-stick pans right now that I'm quite happy with. Cool.
We can tell you're really happy.
Power on
about it.
through.
Yeah, that was the entire story. That was the anecdote.
Cool.
Everything I've read about nonstick pans is that they are essentially, one should consider them disposable.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That they all have a limited lifespan,
Yep.
and you need to know when that lifespan is up.
Because yeah, they go from being great to not working, and their not working status is not. They stop working a little bit. It's like you're staring at them,
Yeah, it's
like scratching away, like swearing at your fried egg.
That's
Yeah.
that's the time you say, "Isn't this supposed to be a nonstick pan?" Wall, wall, wall.
Yep.
And that's the point where you really should just, okay, nope, goodbye. That's true, though. Simon Ark does point out that bird owners, well, they say should not have non-stick pans at all. Be very, very careful with them because bird lungs are extremely sensitive to airborne, what's the word for it? Teflon.
Really?
Like you could just end up having your bird drop.
Huh. I did not know that.
I heard it was also a bad idea to polish, like put nail polish on the talons of your birds for the same reason.
I've never.
That's not something that occurred to me to
No,
do.
no. I've never thought that that's a good idea.
You didn't want to have a really fancy pigeon
I mean,
or chicken or
I've-
quail?
recently come around on pigeons as a very good bird. TM.
Cuckoo?
Electrodyne, no, I do not have a pony. At all, unfortunately. It's one of those things I might just want to actually build. I've considered building, but I do not have one.
I guess we're kind of getting there.
Look.
I don't know.
You know what? I think it's the only problem is that you don't have that top layer on the blending.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this is the thing when you're working with like half-completed miniatures and being like, I don't know about this. You just give them a second, right? Like actually finish what you're doing with them.
That happened with the very wispy one that you finished, right?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you were having major doubts on that one, and then you finished it, and you were like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine now.
Yeah, once you get that shading on, things will definitely clean. Well, they'll look. It'll look part of the set,
Yeah.
which is the most important thing. You know, you don't want to have an adventuring party of a wizard, a dwarf, a fighter, and the Joker.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean a bard?
Yes. Yeah, yes, thank you.
Wow. I was going to ask, has there been a medieval Batman? And of course there has. Of course there was.
I think there are actual comics, aren't
Yeah.
there? Yeah.
Well, there was that Batman Through History series for a while.
There was the Batman Samurai.
Oh, which recently, was on Netflix.
Yeah.
Wait, that just made me twitch, and then I remembered hearing that was actually kind of rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently. I need to look into it, but
Batman Ninja? Okay, Batman Ninja is apparently what it's called.
who called it Batman Ninja and not Batshido? All right, now I just need to backstitch a bit, and then we're good.
Do you have a strap picked out?
Yes. It's the strap that I already own.
Oh, well, there you go. Thrifty.
You're just going to move it between bags as you need to?
Basically.
Cool.
It's also one of the best straps I've ever used. In the sense that it's not falling apart and I used to have a Timbuktu bag for this one. And it was a great bag and it had a great shoulder strap with a nice padded thing. But its problem was that clearly Timbuktu bags were designed for use in San Francisco or at very highest latitude, Seattle. And the coating for this, the rubber coating for the shoulder strap was clearly not designed for regular exposures to minus 30 degrees centigrade.
I mean, humans aren't either, usually.
No, but we're very good at changing our environments.
It looks like Molly's on board with your sentiments.
Regarding...
I guess regarding Timbuktu bags.
Oh, yeah.
Heather really likes the one that she picked up.
Oh, yeah. The bags are great.
Yeah.
They just... They have some very specific flaws.
As do we all.
As do we all. All right. That's a second strap joint. Yeah. There are things that I would do in future to make these better if I were to do it again, but I'm mostly happy with how this looks. And importantly, they're secure AF. Timbuktu bags and iPhones are designed for men in San Francisco specifically. I couldn't refute that if I tried. Okay, what else is there? Next up, we'll need to create a strap that will be attached here and will be sewn through. And a buckle, which we own, which will have to go onto the front at some point. Buckle. So
All right.
I think we're going to say that this is probably about all I can do this episode, because otherwise I'm going to start something and not going to be able to finish it.
And you never do that on here.
So that said, what we're going to do is, I think at this point, I'm going to start closing off the stream and thank everyone for watching us today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here while we leather work and paint, as always. And we'd specifically like to thank all those people who subscribe over at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun for your continued support. It helps keep the lights on and lets us... Not going to say that. Send people to Magic Fest.
Yes.
Or something.
I was hoping you were going to say, like, eat or something.
Oh, no,
But
like
yes, going to Magic Fest is a good idea.
Crank it in the bathroom was what I was going to mention.
And you said it anyway.
You get paid to do that?
Sometimes you got to do a Sudoku.
Yeah.
Got to crank 3 or 4 of those out.
Is that what it's called?
I'm trying to save this fucking stream at the last minute.
You sure? And you're doing very well. But we'd really love to thank especially all of those of you who help us out here at twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun, where we broadcast. If you're watching this on youtube.com, hey, come check out some of our live shows. You can check them out at loadingreadyrun.com/live. But Beach, do we have any subscribers today?
We do have some subscribers, and I hope this works.
Great.
It did.
Hey, I'd like to thank Immutable Man for 20 months of their subscriptions.
SPS works. It's come back for the 4th month. Thank you. That was...
Big ups to Dark Morford, Buddy Sean for 61 months of support. Thank you for continuing.
Loki99 has come back for the 22nd month. Thank you.
I think that's an LXIX.
Loki69 has come back for the 22nd month.
Vonako has been here for 2 whole months. Thanks for coming back.
Ian, your mic has slipped.
Odd again.
Sir, Octopus has come back for the 31st month. Thank you.
Double up. Mikiao has been here for 28 months. Thank you so much.
Distortions in Space and Time have come back for the 28th month. Thank you.
Milozileto has been here for 4 months. Thank you for coming by.
Sokamish, I guess is SOCAM-ish, for 19 months. Thank you.
Ogier300's been around for 44 months. Thanks.
Unum Septium has come back for the 3rd month. Thank you. Unum Septium.
I would like to thank Forsaken 401 for 15 months of resubs.
Going Medium has come back for the 32nd month. Thank you.
And thanks to Hideous Gamer 1 for 5 months.
Dragon Knight 101 has come back for the 13th month. Thank you.
Dromos for 26 months.
Forsaken 401, that I almost said a different word there. It's come back for the 15th month. Thank you.
And Gemix 0 has been here 31 months.
Memnarch has come back for the 8th month. Thank you very much.
And thank you to Boros Burger Battalion for 24 months of resubscriptions.
Shirtle has come back for the 47th month. Much appreciated, friend. Thank you.
And thank you to Elevation 4,000 feet for 29 months of subs.
And for the 356 bits, many thanks to I Am Morthos, Earthen One, Banrail, and A Block.
The bits. Okay, you know what? Let's go over what's happening this weekend stream-wise.
It works. Hey, check it out. Play It Forward is on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific. James is playing more Doom, 2016's Doom.
Mood.
Friday Night Paper Fight is on at 5 p.m. Pacific. That is Magic the Gathering. You guys are drafting War of the Spark.
We are.
Yeah, look at it all up there in the corner.
Ooh.
Oh, wow, there's a lot of it.
There's so much of it. Some of that's conspiracy, but yeah, there's a lot of War of the Spark up there. Adam's Gamehouse returns with Adam playing Dark Cloud 2. That'll be this Saturday at 11 a.m. Rhythm Cafe. Ian, break it down.
We're going to play Utano Prince Shining Live, which isn't Fishgen, but I just want to say Fishgen.
This
forever.
mobile game
Yes, I believe it is.
and probably also an anime.
Probably. Point is, it's we're probably going to hit that paywall pretty quickly in the show. So
9 o'clock returns on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Damn it, let's go. And then talking. You know what? We're going to go back. Hang on a second. I'm going to do this properly. 9 o'clock is at 9 a.m. on Tuesday.
Correct.
James, Rebellious Uno, and Surge all playing modded Minecraft. They're playing Paths of Magic 3. Talking Sim Cam.
Corey and I will be looking at the remaster of Dark Souls, mainly because I just want to play Dark Souls again.
You can see that on Tuesday at 2
I
p.m.
imagine we'll have something to say about it.
Oh,
Sure.
I always do. I imagine you do. Let's Nope. Ben and Adam playing some more spoopy games. That's on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Play It Forward. James will probably continue to play Doom unless he can't for some reason. Maybe he grabs it all up. Who knows? I think he's still got more to do. Now Kiss. Kathleen will be doing Now Kiss next week. Do we know what the gate is? No? Cool.
No.
And that rolls us you're right into AFK. And then Play It Forward again, and then Checkpoint again, and then you know what? It's fine.
we got the Thursday.
Yeah, we wrapped
That's
through a whole week. It's fine.
fine. All right. Well, that's that's it for tonight's show, and that's it for the broadcast day here at Loading Ready Run. Thank you once again so much, everyone, for joining us here on the stream. As we say every time, ever forward.
Never learning.
Take care.